So, I'm reading Awaken the Giant Within right now, Tony Robbins, and I'm in this section right now. It's about how you're changing the pain and pleasure that you link to different things, and how those things affect you, and why you do certain things and why you don't do other things, because you're linking pain and pleasure to the wrong things. So he asks you at the end of this chapter to make some changes, and how you're like changes that you know you need to make and things like that. What is linked to that. So you identify if you've got pain linked to it or pleasure linked to it. And so I just wanted to record this video of me going through that. So this is this section. So first he says, write down 4 actions that you need to do, but you've been putting them off. Maybe you need to lose some weight. Maybe you need to stop smoking. Maybe you need to communicate with someone you had a falling out with, or reconnect with someone who's important to you. So you identify those actions. I've got a sheet here, list of those, and that includes watching and scrolling on Instagram and Twitter for me, arriving late to appointments, skipping my reading and learning blocks, so I factor in reading and stuff in the time of my day. I have that at the time of the end of the day, but a lot of the times time gets away from me, or I eat dinner and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm busy right now. I need to do some other things. I'm hanging out with the family and things like that, and I've gotten into this bad habit the past month or so of just skipping that block entirely. So I need to get back into that. And so I need to get on top of that. I've got that. I have got going to bed late. I want to stop doing that. Procrastinating and general laziness. Cheap dopamine in the mornings. Not closely following my daily time schedule, which is what, is linked to that. Reading blocks. So those are my tasks. That's more than 4, but I'm going to identify those things, and that's where we're going to go. So second, under each of those actions, write down the answer to the following questions. Why haven't I taken action? In the past, what pain have I linked to not taking this action? So he asks you to understand the pain that you've got associated to stopping it. So, understand that. Why haven't you quit? Like, for a lot of these things, scrolling and like watching and consuming Instagram content, I in the past was really good, really disciplined about that. But, I've recently gotten back into where I am consuming a little bit more than I want to be. And so I want to, get back on top of that. And so that's what I'm doing this for. So what is the pain that I am linking to going back off of it again? Why haven't I? Because I've been like, oh, I need to do this. I need to cut this out, but I haven't. So I need to identify the pain with that. So I guess before I get any further, let's jump into that block right there. So for scrolling, I feel like I'm missing out almost of like certain things, I guess, in the world, but just like things that other entrepreneurs and creators are doing, because a lot of the time I'm very isolated, and so I feel like, oh yeah, I need to know what other people are doing, and I need to know these things, and I feel like I'm missing out. And so it's also just a quick pleasure. Like, it's a quick, cheap dopamine, and my brain is wanting that, and has become slightly, it's become a habit like it hadn't been. And so I feel like the pain associated with it from stopping is like, oh, if I don't have that deep dopamine, like, where else am I going to get, and things like that. But it's really stupid. Like, the pain also comes from like, oh yeah, if I miss out, I'm going to become behind and not on cutting edge, things like that. But it's just a distraction. So like, when I wrote that out, I already wrote this one out, and then I had the idea to record this. When I wrote that out, then you kind of realize how stupid of a belief that is. So yeah, there's really no good reason for it. I can check stories and things like that. I think that's an alright thing with just a couple small people, but other than that, it's not useful, because the things that, like, this, the other thing is, like, I feel like I'm gonna miss out on like reels of people objection handling and cold call openers and things like that. There's like, oh yeah, I'm learning, I'm doing these things that are benefiting me, but like, I'm also wasting a bunch of time, and the things on there pretty much aren't ever as good as all the books that I have and haven't read yet, because like, I need to read. There's books that I have and own on subjects like that, but I haven't read them yet, so I could instead just spend the time doing that instead. So I'm gonna write that down. I feel like I'm missing out on learning. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go through these one by one, and do that individually instead of doing it all at once. Third, write down all the pleasure you've had in the past by indulging in this negative pattern. For example, if you think you should lose some weight, why have you continued to eat whole pans of brownies and bulk-sized bags of chips, and to guzzle 12 packs of soda? You're avoiding the pain of depriving yourself, yes, and at the same time, you're really doing this because it makes you feel good right now. It gives you pleasure, instant pleasure. No one wants to give up these feelings. Like, that's what I was saying with Instagram. It's cheap dopamine. It immediately makes me feel better. In order to create a change that lasts, we need to find a new way to get the same pleasure without any negative consequences. Identifying the pleasure you've been getting will help you know what your target is. So I kind of feel like I already did that. It's the pleasure of feeling connected, the pleasure of micro-learning and feeling interconnected and things like that. But most of the time, it's really just a waste of time, and it's just an excuse. So that's the pleasure I get from that. The pleasure to replace it with is, like I said, things like books I haven't read, because I'll still be learning and still feel ahead. And then the connection, like, I can do that by just creating. I just completely create instead of consume, because, I'll even get on there to post something and then I'll get sucked away for like 10, 15 minutes consuming. And so if instead I just spend more time spending that time that I would be consuming just creating more content, and that gets more people to engage with it, and then I build connection off of that. So I think that's a good way to do that. Fourth, write down what it'll cost you if you don't change now. What will happen if you stop eating so much sugar and fat? If you don't stop smoking? If you don't make that phone call that you know you need to make? If you don't start consistently working out each day? Be honest with yourself. What is it going to cost you over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? What is it going to cost you emotionally? What is it going to cost you in terms of self-image? What will it cost you in your physical energy level? What will it cost you in your feelings of self-esteem? What will it cost you financially? What will it cost you in relationships with the people you care most about? How does that make you feel? He says go really in depth with this. So I'm going to do that real quick. My phone's saying it's out of storage, so I actually have to delete some other videos real quick so I can keep filming. So give me a second. So now that that's done, fourth, like I was just saying, write down what it will cost if you don't change now. So for me, I think keeping them around doesn't really benefit me. It benefits me in small ways. Twitter, I don't even create anything on right now. Maybe I will in the future, because I'm pretty good at writing, so like that could work on Twitter. But currently I just consume on there. Like it's political content primarily, because Twitter's a good place for that. So like that's what I'm consuming on there, and like this goes into the feeling like I need to stay up to things, but I don't know. I just don't feel like it's a really great idea. I can be connected and know things in different ways without having to scroll a Twitter feed. And I mean, like, that's what really gets me. Because most of the time I'll be like, oh, I'll just go on here and check a couple of these accounts out, because I follow a very select amount of people on Twitter. Like, so I'll go to those accounts. I'll be like, I'll just go to those accounts and see what they're saying about da-da-da-da-da. And I'll jump to those things, and I'll spend like 5 minutes on each of them. I'll pick like 3 accounts and spend like 15 minutes. So I'm spending 15 minutes there. But then if I'm wanting more, then because I block all the feeds on my social media accounts. I use this little Chrome extension called, I think it's just Newsfeed Blocker, something like that. Newsfeed Extractor. I don't know. You can find something like that on any of the social media. I do that on all of them. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like every single thing. I have all the news feeds and algorithms blocked on the desktop. I can't do that on the phone because it doesn't work the same. Which is why Instagram's so lethal. And I don't have Twitter on my phone. I only have Twitter on my desktop intentionally because I know that it really doesn't serve me on my phone. So I'll enable the Twitter feed after that, and I'll scroll for a little bit, but I just get lost in the scroll of that, learning things, being emotionally manipulated, feeling good about something, one post, and feeling aggravated by another post. Like, it doesn't help. It's not really serving me. And if I don't change that, if I don't stop doing that, I'm just going to have countless more time wasted. I'm going to waste so much more time, spend so much more time distracted, because after you leave that, like, you've got all these thoughts swirling in your head of things that you just saw, because you're seeing all these millions of points of data coming in contact with your nervous system, all feeding you these different things, clashing with each other, and your brain's just trying to consume that. Like, it's almost like the way your stomach digests food. Can't produce. It's just always in a state of digestion. Your stomach doesn't always need to be in a state of digestion. It's not healthy. Same thing with your brain. Your brain sometimes needs to just be sitting. And that's how you create with your brain. That's how you get ideas. So if your brain and your thoughts are always digesting, and because you're always in a state of consumption, it's really dangerous, really bad. And I've gone through a healthy amount of periods where I've not consumed at all, and I'm always good, always feel better. And yet I always go back to this, like, why do I do this? It's so stupid. So that's why I'm like sitting down with this, and it just needs to be gone. I need to really make that change. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. So the cost of not changing, we're going to run down time wasted, but I'm going to say infinite. Time wasted. Tons of time. Can't even count so much time wasted. Time spent distracted. Cheap dopamine, especially in the morning. Like, that's been a problem for me in the morning. I've been posting like my Instagram story, and then I'll spend like another 10 minutes checking my feed. And so right in the morning, your mind's a super fragile place in the morning. I need to especially focus on not using it in the morning, and only checking some things in the evening or afternoon when I've already achieved natural dopamine. So infinite time wasted and spent distracted. Cheap dopamine in the mornings, which alters the way that your brain receives reward, so it kind of throws you off for the rest of the day. Yeah, because if like I'm spending the first, typically I go like the first hour and a half without any like phone or anything like that. But I do get on my desktop and I start working, and sometimes that can get, I can get sucked in even on there. So, but like if you're immediately starting the day with just receiving a reward that you didn't have to work for, then your brain just goes into a state of like, oh, I guess we're chilling today, or oh, I guess this is whatever. It doesn't have to work for the same thing, because like if you go into and you're just like, for instance, on a good day, I just go into cold calls, and I get natural dopamine from doing the hard work of that. Then my brain's reward pathway is gonna be like, all right, so we have to work first, and then we get the reward. So this is a good way of doing it. This is a healthy way. But if we do that to where you just get a reward, your brain isn't gonna want to work afterwards. Your brain's already like, well, we just get a reward anyway, right? You just get pleasure from doing nothing. Whereas you should just set it up to where you're getting it from doing a hard thing and then receiving a reward. So, yeah, that's where that could mess up your mind. So, just wanted to, explain why I was doing that, why that's such a bad thing. So yeah, I think that's a good thing there. Bottom line is it's not good and there's not much reason to do it. Underline it twice. It's extra important. Okay, so I got some other tasks on here that I want to go to, but those are going to be lesser, and I'm going to do those off camera real quick because this video is going to get really long if not. So I'm going to do those, and then I can kind of summarize them and maybe do one or two more here. So let me pause the video and do that. All right. So I went ahead and went through all of them. So they're set up. It's taking about half an hour, just over half an hour. I've got all timed on this phone here. So yeah, really, he wants you to attach pain to the things that are not helping you. So like bad habits, things that you don't want to be doing but are doing. He says that really the reason for you doing them is thinking you're going to get pleasure out of them and getting pleasure out of them. And so instead what you need to do is realize that actually the things that I want are higher than that. Like the bigger things that I want to be doing, I don't do. It's kind of like what Paul talks in Romans. I think it's like Romans 5 or whatever like that. The things that I don't want to be doing, this I keep on doing, but the things that I do want to do, I don't want to do. And what is it in me that does this? It has to be, how does it go? Hold on. I need to find this real quick. I think it's Romans 5. No. Romans 7. Okay, here we go. For I have desired to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not do the good that I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but sin living in me that does it. And so that's what Paul's trying to talk about there. It correlates right exactly here. We don't actually want to do these things, and yet we do them anyway. Why? What's the reason behind that? And so what Tony's talking about here is he's saying you actually, most of the time, are linking more pain to doing something or stopping something that's actually required, necessary. You need to link pain instead to keep on doing these things. So like for me, scrolling right here. Scrolling, and this applies to pretty much most people watching this because everybody has a problem with this. Most people think, oh yeah, I'm going to be missing out on that pleasure. I don't want to stop. It's going to be hard to stop. It's going to be hard to cut down my screen time. It's going to be hard on whatever. Screen time's not a focus for me like that, or not a problem for me. I cut down on that years ago and I'm good. But stopping, you're tying a lot of pain from it. You think you're going to experience some kind of great pain to stop it, so you don't. But actually, he says, you need to tie pain to keep doing it. If I don't quit, this bad thing's going to happen, this bad thing's going to happen, and this bad thing's going to happen. So like for me, this is what it is. If I don't change, I'm wasting a ton of time, and wasting a bunch of time not learning and not creating content is never going to get me to where I want to go. And so that's basically, I went through all of those things that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. I went through most of those things, and the emotional connection that he's wanting me to get for most of those things is actually very simple. It's, if I don't stop doing this thing, I'm never going to get to where I want to be. I'm never going to accomplish things I want to accomplish. And that's enough emotional connection to me to stop it. So you just have to logically go through these things. Like it's something logically that I mentally know, but writing that out on paper, that's what I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. Why do I do this? So it's infinite time wasted. It's time spent that I could be doing other things, learning and doing things like that. And it's never going to get me where I want to go. So the cost of continuing to do it is only going to further me down the path of not being who I want to be. And that hurts, knowing where I could be right now and having stopped. If I would have stopped back then, if I would have stopped, before now, there's things that I could have done great, or could have done more, could have learned more, could have done things, could have had a better, bigger place now. But I didn't, and now here we are. And so that's the decisions you can always make. You can always make that and beat yourself up over, why didn't I stop this before? It's like the thing. The best time to plant a tree was the day that you were born. The second time, best time to plant it was now, today. You always have to just take the opportunity that you have right in front of you. You always have to keep doing it now. Just take the opportunity now. Do it now. Make it happen now. One day or day one. That's a super simple saying that I fell in love with several years back. One day or day one. Just make it happen. So that's what I went through, all of these things. So like arriving late to appointments and things like that. That's been a big problem for mine for a while. I meet people later than I wanted to. Like I run late to different things, and it's not awful compared to what some people could say, but like that's not an excuse. 5 minutes late is still late, and so the pain that I'm setting to that is that's just not who I want to become. I want to become this very prompt, very ahead of schedule guy. And so if I don't stop that, then it's never going to serve me. You can always have it puts people's perspectives of you, diminishes your value. And so I don't want to have my value diminished, right? Pain. You link pain to that. I don't want people to see me this way, so therefore I'm going to make this change. Plus, then I flipped it on its head. I was like, because most of the time I'm like, oh, I got to finish up what I'm doing. I got to finish up what I'm working on. And then, oh, shoot, I got to leave. And you leave. And it's like the extra 5-10 minutes that you spent working or doing whatever you're doing. Was that probably super critical work? Not really. Probably wasn't even that bad. Like, it probably, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, you probably, it's not the best work that you could be doing anyway. So just stop it. Like, that was a simple one for me. Just stop it. Stop doing that. So yeah, that was one that I went through. Skipping my reading block. This is what I said. There's no pain in the task. Yeah, because it's something I look forward to. It's always like, I love reading. Reading is like my favorite thing to do other than work. And, so there's no pain to that. It's just pain in stopping whatever I'm doing because I have it scheduled after dinner. And so a lot of times I will be eating dinner with my family and I'll enjoy the conversations and things like that. And I'll get wrapped up in the conversations. And the pain comes from cutting those conversations off. Pain comes from, oh, but I want to finish what I'm doing. I want to relax. I want to maybe, spend time as a family and doing these things. Or I want to spend time enjoying or relaxing in another way. But really, that is not really it's not bringing me as much pain or much pleasure as I want it to be. So instead I'm linking pain to if I don't stop doing that, if I don't cut those things off and just be like, oh yeah, I actually want to be doing this, then instead I'm going to get the pleasure from reading and doing the things that I truly want to do. So it's already going to give me the pleasure and enjoyment from that anyway. So like that was a simple one. Same thing. Yeah, procrastination. It's not going to lead to anything good. Sometimes, some mornings, it takes me longer than it should to get started on cold calls because, there's like a ripping the Band-Aid factor off with that. Once I get going, like, there's no pain in it at all. It's like, you're just chasing the calls and it's fun. You get into almost a flow state with it, but getting started sometimes can be a real chore or can be a real pain. And I'll procrastinate it and it's like, it doesn't serve me. Like, it's nothing good. I'm never going to get to where I want to be. I'm never going to get to do the things I want to do and become who I want to become if I don't stop doing that. So, like, if I get on that, if I stop doing that, if I get on calls when I should be, then I'm probably going to be in a better place for it. And so, like, those are the things that you link pain to. And if I would have started this before, it would have been a good thing because I probably would have been in a better spot now, better than I am. And so that's where I linked that to. And I went on to the second page here. And the last one I had was not following my time schedule. And this is it's a lack of discipline. This one is what it is, really. I mean, I've showed you before. I have every hour of my waking day scheduled for something. And I am pretty good at it in the morning. And then I fall off throughout the day. And then, like, I get into evening time and I don't do my reading, I don't do the things, and I don't go to bed on time, and it's like, that doesn't serve me. It's not actually what I want to do. I want to be hitting all these things, and I'm going to get pleasure from doing it. Like, I know that like I get dopamine from doing things or whatever I'm doing. Like if I'm spending time with family or if I'm spending time on my phone when I shouldn't be, I feel like the pain comes from thinking that if I stop doing those things, I'm going to stop feeling good. But really, I'm going to feel better if I follow my schedule, because my schedule is going to make me feel good from doing the things that are actually productive. They're actually what I want to do. It's not that I don't want to do it. I love working. I want to do those things. It's just about, making it happen and making sure I'm getting the pleasure and enjoyment from the right things. Making sure my reward pathways are set up correctly in my brain. But yeah, I got to engineer all this kind of stuff, and mental diagnosis, mental organization for all these things, and knowing where you're at and understanding your mind and how you're thinking, how you're processing, how you are spending your time, and being raw and real with yourself. Like in here on these, I call myself a loser for not doing these things. You got to be raw with yourself. Something David Goggins talked about. You got to look in the mirror and say, you're a loser. Let's fix this. That's what you got to do to win. So, yeah, I think that really wraps it up. I just wanted to record that and maybe get something from it. So, yeah, I started this book a while ago, but it took me, I put it on pause because I was reading other stuff and I hadn't been reading like I had said. So, I'm about that much of the way through it, which that's the proper way. So I'm like I'm 100 pages into it, and it's like a 500-page book, so fifth of the way through it. But yeah, I know it doesn't look like that on the when I'm holding it like this, because there's a huge index in this back. So just trust me, I really am at that point. But yeah, I need to get through this, and it's a good book. I like it a lot. So yeah, hopefully you are having a good day and got some value out of this. So I'll see you later.